Well, at least 4 people have been killed in a fresh gun-related violence in the United States. A deadly incident happened in the city of Colorado Springs in the state of Colorado. One of the victims is a gunman who was shot dead by police. Officials say he went on a shooting rampage before being confronted by officers. The motive behind the shooting is not known yet. Authorities have placed the officers involved in the shooting on a routine administrative leave. The US has been witnessing a sharp rise in gun-related violence. There have been nearly 250 instances of mass shootings across the country this year. Well, to get more updates on that story, we're joined by our correspondent Colin Campbell in Washington. Colin, what can you tell us about the latest details regarding this fatal shooting?
Well, the gunman went through a downtown area that's usually very populated. There are a lot of fast food restaurants in this area. It happened at about 8:45 in the morning local time when the gunman was going through the streets carrying what is called an AR-15 rifle gun. And this gun has been highly controversial. It was banned in several states after the Sandy Hook shooting in 2012. I believe New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut banned that gun and sales of that gun after that shooting. But regardless, this shooter had this AR-15. He walked through this downtown area and started to shoot at people. Now, he killed at least 2 women. It's believed that another man, before police confronted him, told him to drop the gun. When they told him to drop the gun, he turned around and didn't drop the gun. That's when police fired on the guy, killing him in a hail of about 20 or so bullets. Of course, this raised the alarm of many people in the area who could not believe there was a gunman just randomly walking around shooting people, and then to be in a gun battle with police, more or less, and then finally getting killed himself in the hail of gunfire. So again, this is the latest mass shooting that we've had in the United States. As you said before, at least 240 incidences of mass shootings so far this year. Not so much conversation on what should be done as far as trying to limit the sales of guns or ban the sales of guns in a federal response. Of course, some of the presidential candidates have talked about it. Hillary Clinton has talked about not so much as taking guns from people who own them, but heavily restricting them far beyond what they are right now in the United States.
And any information about who this gunman is, what the motives were behind the shooting?
Not yet. We know that details are still emerging as police are waiting to identify this guy, as they usually wait to notify family members, look for any other clues. We do know that the gunman's house or his domicile was set on fire shortly before the shooting or around the time of the shooting. So police may be having some obscurity in trying to find some of those clues to really ascertain why this gunman did what he did.
And then we're getting closer, Colin, to the holiday season. How safe do the American public feel going into the holiday season? Because we're seeing an increase every year.
We are, and I think that there are many people here, at least in Washington, D.C., where gun restrictions have been a little bit more than in other places, are always on a steady feeling of alertness and always looking out for something that may seem odd. It's part of the culture here in Washington, D.C., as it's the nation's capital. It could be vulnerable to other types of attacks, not just gun attacks, but bomb attacks or anything like that. So people are not skittish, I wouldn't say that, but they have learned to adapt and learn to modify themselves, be conditioned to the culture that they have to be alert when going out. I do believe that there are a lot of people here who would like to see more gun control, but of course, as we always talk about, there's lots of pushback from Congress. The Washington, D.C. region is usually controlled as far as its funding is concerned by Congress, and states, of course, depending on where you are. Colorado is usually a little bit more of a gun-friendly state, I would say. So you're not going to hear too many people jumping out and saying they want to speak out against guns, but they are going to be more alert. They are going to ask other people to be more responsible. But few think that just those little changes is what's going to change the overall big picture when it comes to mass shootings in the country.
Thank you very much. Colin Campbell, Press Service correspondent in Washington, giving us an update on that story. At least 4 people have been killed in a fresh gun-related incident in the United States.